Hi, this is Andres, and today I want to talk about something deeper on the technical side of the Power Platform, and that is how we can work with multiple currencies in Dataverse. We'll illustrate how this works using the actual application I've built to create my own invoices. Before jumping into the technical demo, I want to pause for a moment to reflect on the technology we are actually using when working with the Power Platform. So let's think about the history of the Power Platform just for a moment. Well, it comes from 2018 when Microsoft decided to separate from the product they've got as Dynamics, the Microsoft CRM competitor with HubSpot, with Salesforce, that kind of enterprise-grade software. So Microsoft decided to separate the product from the platform that serves the product. So with the Power Platform, you can create a Dynamics, or in other words, Dynamics is nothing more than just a big Power Apps. What that means is that we have in our hands, in my opinion, the most mature, robust, and capable low-code development platform in the market. We can do several things like hierarchical security, role-based access control, and managing multiple currencies. So let's dive into that. So what we are going to do is look at the internals of an invoice record, in particular the columns that have been created as type currency, and we'll see what happens when we change the currency of the whole record. And then we'll dive into that and understand how Dataverse translates one currency into the other, keeping to the exchange rates. These exchange rates are configurable. We can use manually set up exchange rates or connect it to an exchange rate system where we can track it on real time. And then the rest of the process is what happens in the actual application, which is we create an Word template, generate a PDF, and then send it via email. You can see the rest of that part of the application in a previous video on my channel. Now, looking at the application, we can see 3 different invoices, each of which have these total columns, all in the euro currency. If we jump in one particular invoice, we'll see that we have this column called currency that we can change to a different currency of the ones that are configured in this environment. If we jump into the table internals, this is the table internals that we can access via the Maker portal, the place where we create the application. We can see these 3 invoices from the backend. This one, the 1005, is the one that we are looking at here, and we can see that there's something strange here. We have the total column, the total VAT column, but then we have this total base and total VAT base columns as well. So the technical reason this happens is that when we create a column such as total and we set the type to be currency, behind the scenes Dataverse is going to create for us this total base currency. Now this total base currency is the way to have a reference to what is the reference currency for our environment. When we create a Power Platform environment from the Power Platform Admin Center, we can select currency, the base currency, and the base language. Language can be any, Spanish, English, whatever it is, and currency the same. We can select different currencies, Euro, GBP, US dollar, Canadian dollar, whatever it is. And that base currency is the anchor that we are going to look at in here. So for example, when we have to create a financial report, we won't use this column to have all the data in the same currency. We'll use this value over here, which is a translation from this value that is using this currency into our base currency here. Now let's see what happens if we, even from the backend, we can do this from the front end as well, change the currency to pound sterling. Okay, so now I've saved. Let's refresh. Oops, I didn't save. Let me hit enter. Okay, and hit refresh. Okay, you see here that the total remains the same, but not the total base has changed. Why? Because it has converted this amount over here. The total amount has converted it to pound sterling currency, meaning that now in euros we have this amount. Now where can we configure this behavior? So the rate at which we are translating pounds to euros. So from this application, well, we can enter directly the currency over here, or I have exposed the currencies table in this navigation, and this is basically a table from the system where we can configure all the currencies that are available within this environment. And here we can create now, but let's take a look at pound sterling, for example, and we see that the exchange rate is this one over here. If we create a new one, let's see how this works. We can create, okay, what's the base currency here? Whatever it is, dollar Canadian, that's from the French part of Canada, I believe. Here you would say, okay, well, 1 Canadian dollar from there is going to be, I don't know, 3 euros. and then you would save, and this currency will be available for you to select in the inbox. Now let's take as a note here the currency precision. We can configure this as well. This level in the environment, it's true, but it can be up to 10 decimal points of precision. Why this is important? Because maybe if we are going to build an application to track freight rates, for example, for a logistic solution on the logistics industry, then we want to have more currency decimals to be able to really do arbitrage between goods, for example. Thanks for watching till the end of this video. I hope you find it useful. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and if you have any questions or you want to contact me, you can do so using the comment section in the YouTube video, or also going through the link to my personal website and reach out to me via the form. Thank you very much, and see you in the next one.